Hey guys, Kil2 here, got another solo engagement for you, and today I'm gonna be able to start the recording way before the fight actually starts, so you can see what goes into getting the fight. So I'm in a Talos, and I'm somewhere in Pure Blind, not really near any entries, and came into a local with 10, went to the station at 50, and just started shooting everything that was at the undock. So that's what you're looking at now. And, this is gonna take um, some work, but hopefully you guys are going to get a sense of what kind of goes into um, getting a lot of the engagements that I get. So right now I've done this this roam. I've already been to another station system where I was doing the same thing. I killed an AFK hauler, and then they brought out a bunch of that fleet. Actually, you see me describing in my pub channel chat, like Vindicator, Blackbird, Dominic started chasing me around, so I couldn't really engage that. So then I moved up a couple more jumps, and it's interesting. I'm always fascinated by this process. Actually, like if you hang out at a station, you get a sense for the way the whole constellation works a lot of the time in a way, or I don't know. You get a sense for the way people that live out here work anyway. So the tornado sits there and keeps an eye on me, but doesn't aggro, so he can dock if I put damage on him. And then other stuff warps. You see lots of ships warping to the station and docking, and stuff popping up on scan and disappearing on scan, and it's like this. The hornet's nest gets going in like this slow, um, I don't know, piece by piece way where people dock and switch ships, and the people that were out mining or ratting go to posses and switch ships, that kind of thing, and eventually they send a bunch of people out for you. But it's great. I think a lot of time actually, and I've been victim of this recently. I'm not going deep in 0-0 enough where people um, don't fight quite as often, and that's really good because it makes them not only worse, but it also makes them more optimistic. Like in an entry system, people expect the worst and prepare for the worst, so it's really hard to solo a lot of the time. But deep out here, people are a little more reckless. They often have more money. They often don't get to PvP as often, so they're more eager, and all that stuff is good. Anyway, so I warped to the gate. I feel like there's enough activity around the station that it's likely they're going to follow me. So I warped to that gate. I actually turned fraps off for a second, but I scanned for a while until I saw a ship on the way to the gate, which ended up being a Cerberus, and then I jumped immediately so that they chase. I don't want to necessarily sit on the gate there. And Cerb uncloaks, and so then I uncloak and try to tackle it. He's able to warp off fast enough, unsurprisingly. And he warps up to another gate, which is actually great. I'm happy. Like, I'm a little surprised no other ships have jumped in to this system yet from the station system, but I'm happy that the Serb is pulling us away from the station system. It means it's less likely that I'll get blobbed. It's like the more jumps you get away from a group's home system, the less people are likely to follow you. Some probably will, and this Serb kind of flying out on his own makes me think that someone's interested, but it's less likely that everybody in that system is interested. I saw Tornado, Zealot, Rifter, and a Macariel on scan, and a Tengu that wasn't on scan when I got there. And I think it's unlikely that they would all follow me 2 jumps away. So then the Serb jumps on contact again. Um, and the Serb's a tricky thing because it's unlikely without help he's going to want to engage me by himself. But I do want to try and catch him. And a Serb can also, since it's kind of an unusual ship, it could be fit in a lot of different ways. So it's hard to know what to expect from it. Anyway, so this time I decloak immediately because last time I tried to decloak after him, and obviously that didn't work. I didn't have enough time to lock him, so I go ahead and decloak and wait for him to decloak and try to tackle, which I'm able to do. But he burns back to the gate this time, so I start shooting him, but he burns right down to jump range, and of course I don't have web or scram, so I can't keep him from doing that. I wouldn't be able to anyway, probably, but now this is the most important part of the fight in my opinion. I turn off my damage, and the reason is if I keep shooting him, he just jumps out. There's no doubt about it. So I turn off my damage, but then that by itself isn't enough to get him to engage. Like, if I just turn off my damage, he'll know what I'm doing. He'll know that I'm trying to wait for him to aggro. And so what I do is I ungroup my guns and start shooting him again with one gun. And what I'm hoping to do is convince him that my damage is bad. Convince him that either his tank is strong, or convince him that I can't hit him from this far away, which is great for a Serb, or something. And hopefully that'll convince him he can engage me. And once he aggroes, I mean, all he has to do is shoot one missile, and I can burn him down before he can deaggress, most likely. And then I look at his ship to see what he's doing, and he's just orbiting the gate for now. I haven't mentioned so far, so I will. The fit on the Talos I have is 8 neutrons, microwarp disruptor, 2 extenders, 2 mag stabs, 2 tracking enhancers, and a damage control. It's actually what I would consider kind of standard, but I think a lot of people still haven't seen a shield Talos. It's really, really good. My optimal with null is like 15k, and the fall off is 25k, and the DPS is around 800, I think. So I'm doing, you know, more than 400 DPS at 40k range, and it just gets higher the closer I go. So anyway, now I get what I want. The Serb just turned off of his orbit and aligned towards the middle of this system, which is fantastic. And so now, the reason I have my hand on the microwarp there is my next concern is that he's going to try to tackle me, that his friends are close by, and now he's going to dive for a tackle, and I need to be able to move. So that's what I do. As soon as he starts burning, I start burning towards the sun. And then by looking at him, I can see he's actually not approaching me here. He's sped up, but he's flying under me. So now I'm going to hit approach because I don't want to lose him. Cruisers are fast. Talos is fast too, but you can see he's going 2100 meters a second right now, which I'm going to need heat to keep up with. But the fact that he's burning in a straight line is awesome for my damage. If he orbited me at this speed, I probably wouldn't be able to hit him very easily. I'd end up having to work a lot harder on my positioning. But with him flying in a straight line like this, I can just approach. And now I'm going 2100, which is perfect. And I did get a new local jump just now, which is why I overheated my guns. I also thought there was a chance he was going to make it out of disruptor range, so that's the other reason I overheated. But then his speed just totally turns off. He just stops. And it turns out the reason he did that is because he's going to be getting a fleet warp, and he wants to make sure the guy warping lands right on top of me. It works out, actually, that him stopping lowered my DPS. You can see I'm not tracking very well right now. And so the next thing for me is speeding up again to get some range so that I can hit. It's really important with this ship, and any ship with large guns, you have to constantly be thinking about your tracking. And so I just want to get out to, like I said, my optimal is 15k, so getting out to 10k is perfect. So now that I'm out here, I'm microwarp off again, just sitting and doing as much damage as I can. It's really nice to see the Serb doesn't have any tackle. And then here comes a Saber. A Saber's pretty scary. I'm not worried about the bubble, obviously, but most Sabers will have a scram fit, and being scrammed in the Talos is really, really bad news. Not to mention, the Saber can solo me. I mean, if he scrams me and orbits me, he can easily kill me. Pretty fast, actually. And so the next thing I want to do is hopefully get a jam for my jam drone so that I can pulse my microwarp, because once I start moving, I'll hit him no problem. But then the other problem is Null doesn't track as well, so the next thing I do is regroup my guns, put the Caldari Navy antimatter in because it tracks better. Here you can see I'm hoping to get a pulse on the microwarp when I land a jam, which doesn't happen. But here's another thing that shows how great the Talos is. I'm moving forward, Saber's trying to orbit me, but he's not got his microwarp on, and right here he ends up parallel to me. So there's one volley through shield, second volley through structure, and he's dead. And yeah, that just is awesome. Talos has a tracking bonus, so it tracks really, really well. And he got parallel, and then I was able to warp out as a Stabber fleet issue and a Vagabond warped in. So that was really, really great. Unfortunately, so I warped back to the grid at 50 after this, and there's a Rifter and the Fleet Stabber on grid. And I forgot to turn fraps on, but here's me finishing off the Fleet Stabber. He basically tried to catch up to me, couldn't quite do it, got to 15 or 16k. And I'm just shooting Nil the whole time. He has no HP, so it's a matter of his active tank, which just wasn't enough. He tried to turn around and leave, but couldn't align fast enough, and I killed him. And then a Rook showed up on grid and jammed me the rest of the time that I tried to engage these guys. And eventually I got impatient, tried to leave, and died, but pretty cool engagement. So I guess that'll do it for today. I hope you guys enjoy this, and I will see you next time.